are the Bills back to being title contenders?
No, no, they're not. I think it's more realistic that the Cowboys are back to being the Cowboys than it is for the Bills being back to being title contenders.
Hmm.
Mainly because they didn't win the way you normally would win. I mean, how does Buffalo win 31-10 and Josh Allen doesn't even have 100 yards passing? But he threw 15 passes. I mean, Cook running for almost 200 yards on you. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's not a typical Bills
Right.
game. I think they took the deficiencies that Dallas has, and just kind of ran it up on them. I think home field advantage says a lot for Buffalo
Yeah.
being in Buffalo. They're not going to be at home in the playoffs. Um, just Dak Prescott, it was fun being in the MVP race for like 3 weeks. That was cool. Now we got to listen about Brock Purdy again. We didn't have to listen to Brock Purdy for 1 week. And now we got to listen about Brock Purdy again. So way to go, Prescott. Um, CD Lamb keeps saying, I'm the best receiver in the league. 7 catches, 53, 54 yards. What are we talking about? So yeah, I think the Bills are what they are. I think they're a scary team, but a title contender, I would put the Chiefs as long as they kill Tony, and don't let him touch the field again. I'd put them ahead of the Bills. I'd put Miami ahead of the Bills. I would put, obviously Baltimore ahead of the Bills. Hell, I might even put Cleveland in
Hmm.
that elite defense over the Bills right now because Cleveland at least is played more consistently,
Mm.
and they got a defense that travels. So
Nestor.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the stats and I was like, it's hard to see that result, 31 to 10. So I have to agree that it's the Cowboys being the Cowboys because I don't. Apart from the fact that I mean, they did neutralize Michael Parsons. They did stop him from getting to Josh Allen just enough so that James Cook could run the ball,
Mm.
that Josh Allen could decently pass the ball. Um, Again, they're getting it done a lot with their tight ends with Dawson Knox, or it's whether it's Dawson Knox or Dalton Kincaid in there, because you can forget about guys like Stephon Diggs. They don't even matter. I don't even know if he's still on the team, but yeah, I don't think they're title contenders. I don't. I I don't. I think they're a team that nobody really wants to face because you would expect them to be a little bit higher up, right? I don't think any team wants to actually face them. Um, But as far as getting to the Super Bowl or getting far, no, because they're just carrying the same problems either way. Um, so their interim, whatever you call it, offensive coordinator, I don't know, I forgot his name. He's doing pretty good, but um, Bills not title contenders.
yeah, people don't want to face them in the playoffs because of their potential, not because of their
Right.
body of work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you're a quarterback who's that talented, wide receiver is that talented, like they could have this kind of a game where they just go off and it's like you just
Right, right.
don't want to see that. But I will say they are two different teams. Buffalo at home and Buffalo away, two very different teams this year. So like you mentioned, Malin, if they do make the playoffs, they're not going to be playing at home pretty much at all. So there's that. Which I do think they are still a playoff team. Like they could very well still make the playoffs. However, I do not think that they are title contenders still. This is more so, the Cowboys had just one of those games. They kind of laid an egg. And this is one of the games where the Bills just everything went their way. Uh, every team kind of has one of these games every year where it's just everything's clicking and you're able to do kind of whatever you want. Uh, Especially when it comes to the run game. When James Cook is running for 200 yards, it just opens everything up, and it's like, what can you do as the opposing team at that point? So, when everything goes your way, sure, you look really good. They have won, I think it's 3 out of their 4 last games. But when you look at the wins, it was this one where everything went their way. The other one was against the Jets, and then the third was against the Chiefs when Kadarius Toney was playing for the Buffalo Bills. So when you take all things in consideration, it's still like that doesn't sound like a Super Bowl contending team. A lot of the issues they still have, are still lingering. And then when you look at the rest of their schedule, they still have LA, the Chargers. They're playing my Patriots, and then they play Nestor's Dolphins. Besides the Chargers, those are still going to be tougher games. Even though we have no business giving the Bills a fight, we will. And then Dolphins are not going to be easy at all. So, the Bills. Malin mentioned a bunch of teams that are better than them. I'm going to throw in the Bengals, too. I think the Bengals could beat them in a playoff situation, even with Browning.
Browning, baby.
Yeah.
Careful with that man.
Right. I have more faith in Cincinnati than I do Buffalo at this point. So, with all that being said, sounds like none of us are buying the Super Bowl contention when it comes to the Buffalo Bills.